Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, May 23rd, and this is Life Matters. Let's talk about it. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life Matters. I am your host, Michele Johnson, and I am so excited to have you all joining me today. Today is a very special day, but I want to remind each and every one of you that is out there, whether you're listening or watching, tuning in, wherever you may be, just want to remind you that you can post your comments, your questions for our guests to answer on today. I have an amazing panel on today. And remember that Life Matters is where we talk about those things that matter in our community specifically. And today I have three BBB sisters joining me today. And in case you don't know what that means, we're talking about bald, bold, and beautiful. Absolutely. And we are talking to some amazing women on today. We have Arlene McGuire, Lisa Ennis, and Shurvone Wright. Say hello to the people, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
I am so excited because I was just telling them how I've been trying to have a show with BBBs on here because, I knew I wasn't the only one, but I'm excited to introduce to you these beautiful women. They each have their own platform in their own right, but I wanted to pull them in because they represent the BBB community. And I'm going to first introduce Arlene McGuire, who is a published author of about 5 published works. She is also a visual artist, a voiceover professional, me too, who is a speaker, a survivor, and her mission is putting the passion for life into creativity, encouraging those who need to know they are valuable and that they can create something to help somebody else. Yes, 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 yes. And then we have Miss Shurvone Wright, who too is an author, a speaker, a mentor, and the founder of Women's Empowerment Ministry, Confidence Without Regret, that encourages women to stand in their truth, helping them to find their voice and to go after their goals unapologetically. I know that's right. She also owns a financial practice that specializes in retirement and college planning and helping families to plan for the future. She currently resides in California with her husband and 4 daughters, and she has 4 grandbabies. Welcome, Miss Shurvone, and then none other than Miss Lisa Ennis. Yes, she is known as the Shift Strategist. I had to say that real careful. Yeah. Strategist. Amen. SHIFT for all of you carnal folk out there. The Shift Strategist. And she is esteemed for her candid and constructive yet encouraging ways of advising her clients. She is an expert in the beauty industry. We can tell because she's beautiful, isn't she? And she offers successful hints to introduce future tools, SHIFT, for beauty professionals. So she specializes in consulting. She's a speaker, an encourager, and a life strategist. These women do so much. I had to just shorten their bios so we can get a little bit in there for each and every one of you. So ladies, I am excited to have each and every one of you to join me on today. Now, let's get it all started. I want to hear your stories because, we all didn't start out. Well, maybe some of us were born as BBBs, but we grew up and we had hairstyles at some point. So I'm going to start with you, Lisa. Give us your hair story.
So I started losing my hair in early 20s. And from there, I would just do like braid it to try to cover up the spot, or I would put weaves in it, or wigs, or wear wigs. I'm a wig specialist as well. I specialize in trichology, which is the intense study of the hair and scalp. So I started in my early 20s losing my hair. The women on both sides of my family, my father's side and my mother's side, suffer from hair loss. And I somehow thought it was my fault having hair loss, because, people make you think that, and I'm a hairstylist, so don't get me wrong, I like doing long, beautiful, flowing hair. But people make you think that your hair is who you are. And we really are not our hair. Your hair doesn't describe the person. So going along in my 20s, I started with hair loss with a small patch of alopecia, and the patch started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I came to a point later on in my life that I wanted to cut it off eventually. So my sister, God bless her soul and rest her soul, who died from cancer, she lost all of her hair from chemo. So the day that she came from the hospital, or the day that the hair started falling out, I brought the clippers home and I said, well, why don't you, and this is moving forward, way forward, because she died 2 years ago. I said, well, why don't you cut the rest of mine off and we'll be two bald sisters. And so she did, but I would still never release my baldness to anyone around me, although I would go to her house taking care of her with a bald head. And not until recently, I started, my friend of mine, she's a hairstylist as well here in Maryland. We decided that we were going to cut our hair off, just let everybody see us bald. We encouraged each other. We actually joined a support group that's going to be marching here in Annapolis soon. And we decided to join a support group. And I kept saying, these women look beautiful with bald heads. And I said, I just want to see what I really look like with bald, no makeup, no earrings, nothing. I mean, although I was with my sister, I really never looked at myself. I looked at being bald as being like her at the time, because I did not want her to feel bad from losing her hair. So when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this. These women are beautiful. They're bald, and the hair doesn't make a woman, or doesn't make you. I'm going to go ahead and take it all off and do a reveal. And so I did it. And I think one of the stories I shared, or you probably read this, Michele, that I was at a women's retreat. And that retreat, I would go to this retreat every year. And I would go, and it was a place of refuge. And I would go, to be healed. But this particular retreat, the pastor had everyone with this long, beautiful, flowing hair to stand up and swing their hair. So, so that made me hide again. And I really felt like it was my fault to be hairless, or being bald was something that I had done. And so I was ashamed. I was shamed into keeping the wig on. And so that's a part of my story. I remember that retreat, but God healed me from that to, to being who I am today. So if I feel like putting the wig on, I'm gonna put it on, because that's what I do. If I don't feel like it, if I feel like tying it up, I've been real creative with wraps. So I've been doing some really creative wraps. But that's basically my story, starting off young in my 20s, losing it, and all the way up, I'm 50 something now, to say, hey, I'm done.
I know that's right.
And hair doesn't make me, and you'd be surprised of how many men start contacting you when you think that hair doesn't make you having no hair doesn't make you attractive. They find it even more attractive not having any hair. So yes, so that's my story, and starting a support group here in Maryland to help women come out and be confident in what their gift is. And their gift is having no hair, but they have other gifts on the inside of them that it doesn't describe who we are. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Beautiful.
Okay, Miss
Beautiful.
Arlene, tell us your hair story because we know we talk about history, but I'm talking about hair story. I'm talking about hair stories.
Hair
Yeah.
story.
Give
I
us
like that.
your hair story.
Well, similar to Lisa, I did it for someone else, my mother. She came down with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2004, and the chemotherapy started to weaken the hair, and it started to come, not a lot, but she became concerned that, oh my God, I'm so old. How am I going to be bald? And I'm like, let me show you. We look so much alike. We really look very much alike. And so I shaved my head. And so I said, this is how you're going to look. You like it? So I moved from
You
that, and she did very well. She survived until from '05 till 2012. She passed away. After showing her the baldness, what I did was when she was done with chemo and radiation, I let it grow out very short. I liked the short bob, and I was blonde. So I was blonde for several years until 2018. The very same cancer came to me,
Oh
except that
my.
mine showed up here. So the biopsy and the whole thing, I started chemo and radiation consumed those two parts. It would not grow back. They didn't think it would. I'm like, well, I don't care. I know what I look like already. I've got to stay bald. So
Yeah.
I took it off. And since then, it's been an exciting ride because I no longer have to be concerned about doing my hair or any of that. But the shaving is very trying for me because I tend to be very giddy. So I have to slow myself down and just stay in the flow of a new way to wake up because now uh, the radiation burns were gone. I had two really big burns on my head, and it feels like I'm in a much better place because I'm happier with myself. When I look in the mirror, I do feel I'm so comfortable with this now. I'm like, God, you really did make me look good without no hair. And yes, I find people staring. Men, they stare, and I feel it's the construction of my head. I have a very big triangle in the back, and I think one side, it's really weird, but it's a good place to be because previously in my life, I had very low self-esteem. I did not do well with my beauty or any of that. So this feels as though at this age, I just turned 70. I'm like, this is so
wow.
cool. This is so
You look
cool.
amazing.
I'm loving it. So yes, I'm thankful for that opportunity to help my mom get through the. I think she just said it to be saying it. It wasn't really an issue. She was too old to worry about that. And so I was able to help her. I embraced it, and here I am today, being part of this group. This is
Amen.
enjoyable. This is enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Arlene. Miss
Sure.
Shurvone, tell
Hi.
us your hair story.
Hello, and I'm sorry I'm having technical difficulties.
Or just
Um,
keep talking,
We can
honey.
hear
okay,
you.
so my story is I wore wigs for probably 20 years, and and every now and then I would shave my hair, I'd braid it up, and then just recently, I about 2 months ago, I had a dream about a butterfly on. It was very vivid, and it was like on my back, and it was just very beautiful. And I thought, wow, that's strange, butterfly, okay. And then the next, probably about 2 days later, I was taking my braids out because I had braids in my hair. It was very thin, and all of a sudden, I just noticed that my hair was really, really thin. And I guess I come to find out it's from friction alopecia. I think that's what it's called. But I didn't know that. I didn't know if it was stress. I didn't know if it was, because of COVID. I didn't know what was going on. But all of a
Hmm.
sudden, it just seemed really thin. And I just decided one day I'm just going to shave my head off. I'm just going to shave it off and just be whatever. And my daughter and my husband they were like, "Oh my God, you're not going to wear a wig?" And I said, I don't think so. And so for about 3 days, I just wore my head like this.
Hmm.
And then I decided one day I was going to, because I'm a big social media person, I'm a social media marketer. So I said, you know what? If I post it on my social media page, that's it. I'm coming out. And once it goes live on social media on my page,
That's
then
it.
it's no going back. And I posted it on my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, and my Instagram page. and I got 250,000 views and 20,000
Wonderful.
likes and all these comments, and I was blown away with the love and the embracing, and oh my God, you're so beautiful. And for weeks I couldn't figure out, like, I felt like such a deep peace, and I felt more beautiful being bare
Yes.
than I did with a wig on. And I couldn't, for weeks I couldn't put words to how I felt. And then after a while, I just realized there was a beauty coming from within. I couldn't hide behind my hair. I couldn't hide behind, you know, what I thought to me at the time was beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with wigs, nothing. But I was trying to put words to what, it was so deep for me that I could not believe personally that I was okay with, like, going outside with my bald head and posting pictures, and it just gave me so much more confidence than I ever have. And like I think Lisa said, I'm married. So people don't come on to me like, they just, men on my page, on my LinkedIn page, or my connections, wow, your hair is beautiful. And I tried to get my wife to do this a long time ago, and you wear it well. And it just gives you a knowing that you're okay just the way you are.
Yeah.
And I've always struggled with that, because I teach women how to be confident. But if I can't walk the talk myself, then I can't really teach it to anybody else. So I truly believe that
Indeed.
God was saying, okay, you want to teach women how to be confident and walk in their power? Okay, here you go. You're going to walk the talk. And so it just gave me that boldness to just to be okay with myself. And then for, when you reached out to me and other women reach out to me to want to hear my story, it still takes me aback because I'm like, wow, you want to hear my story? You want to hear from me? And it's just such a blessing. It's such a blessing. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. And I've been playing around with color, as you guys can see, and
Okay.
makeup. I don't wear a whole bunch of makeup, but different jewelry and different outfits, and it just gave me a whole. I'm 55 too, in the 50s club. So it just gave me like this free. It's like a
Yes.
freeness in your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Freeness in your soul that
Absolutely.
exudes. I think that's what helps to exude the beauty outwardly without having the adornment of hair, because the beauty comes from within, that it just radiates outwardly.
Yeah. Well, wow. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your story. I
Awesome.
guess I should share
Beautiful.
mine.
Yes.
Yes. I'm
Come
all
on.
engrossed in y'all's story. I haven't told my story. Well, for me, I've always, for a better part of my 20s, I was always thin in the top. And I thought it was just male pattern baldness, which is hereditary, that women can get it if there's anybody on their father's side or, both sides or what have you, that's bald. And I said, because I didn't do tracks, I didn't do, I started wearing a wig when I cut my hair real short, like when I was in the military back in early 2000s, because I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I cut it really short, but I didn't like how I looked. I said, oh, I look like a boy that wears a bra. That's what I said. It's my show. I can say what I want. And so I was like, what is going on? And so I would let it grow out, and then I would get braids, and then I wore sister locks for a while. But I noticed, what is this? This is 2021. I noticed in 2018 that it was really thinning. And so I was growing it out so I could braid it and at least cover up, because it started as a small circle and it just kept getting, a little larger, and it was thinner hair, but it wasn't completely bald. But then I realized one day when I've been pulling it up and putting a hair piece to sit right up in the top. And I was like, okay, this is just getting on my nerves because it's not working for me. And I was at a funeral and I lifted my hands to say glory, and I felt a breeze. I didn't lose the hair piece, but I felt the breeze, and it was enough for me to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm trying to cover this up, and it's just being too much. And my then boyfriend, we weren't engaged yet, but my then boyfriend said to me, or maybe it was 2019, he said, why don't you just cut it off? Because by that time, my hair from here down, I had hair, but nothing in the middle. So I looked like Bozo the Clown or Benjamin Franklin. That's the only way I could describe
Wow.
how I looked. And my mom was like, well, why don't you just cover? I said, Mom, I can't pull up any more hair than what I've got. So from here down, I had hair. I had length, but it was thin. But in the middle, there was nothing. And so he shaved my head on June 2nd, 2019. And I've been like this ever since. And it's smooth. You know, I'll get a little stubble, but not enough for me to say my hair is growing back. And so that is my hair story. And at first I thought it was something that I had done like you, Lisa. I thought, you know, maybe because I wore the locks, or maybe I wore the sister locks, or maybe I permed it too much. I thought it was something that I was doing to myself. But when I went to the dermatologist at the VA, she said, you have CCCA, which is central.
Central alopecia. Yes.
Yeah. And so she said it just starts in the middle and it just gets bigger until it just, you know, takes over. And so she was like, well, we can get you a wig made free through the VA. We can do all of these things. But I started really enjoying my bald head. Like Arlene, I get up and wash my face and head at the same time. It's amazing. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to curl it, if I'm going to crimp it, if I'm going to braid it, if I'm going. I don't have to worry about any of that. So let me ask you, and we're all, you know, beautiful. We've accepted it now. We're embracing it now. Lisa, how did it feel for you emotionally or mentally at first? And then Arlene, I'm throwing you the same question. How did it feel for you initially when you knew that your hair was no longer? And again, I agree. My hair is not me. It doesn't make me me. There's a freedom in it. But at first there was an emotion attached to my hair loss.
So you're speaking like when it first happened, when I was in my 20s, or when I cut it, the first time I cut it.
Either way, whether it started then, whether it was something that you felt along the way, was there an emotional thing, a mental thing? What did you go through within you? And we know God makes all things beautiful and all things well, right. But as people, like Shurvone said, when you look at yourself and you're like, okay, wait a minute, I don't know if I can rock this right here.
Yeah,
so what was,
Well, I started in my 20s, the years that we're figuring out who we are. But we graduate from high school, you're going to college, but you're really trying to find who you are. So beauty, what we saw beauty is important. You feel left out, like, oh, my hair used to be this, and it's starting to get thin here. So I'm trying to cover it and trying to be beautiful. And so it just strips your confidence. You don't think that you're as pretty as someone else because it may not even be shown. People probably didn't even notice that our hair was that thin. They probably didn't even notice it, but we felt it. Yeah. And so I felt that I just didn't feel like I was not as pretty. And to be honest, emotionally, the confidence of not having hair has held me back in many ways. People may not have paid attention, but I knew on the inside, I don't think I'm good enough to do blah, because being in front of a crowd or in front of others, I don't have that look. And so emotionally, yes, you don't feel pretty enough. You don't feel good enough. You hide in the back. You hide all of your gifts because of that one thing that's hurting on the inside, that you want hair. And, I was really believing God, because I believe that he does all things and he's a miracle worker. And I was believing him to bring my hair back, like open up them follicles and have it to come back in. I really was. And the whole time it's like, this is a gift that I've given you. And it's a part of your voice. Being bald is a voice, is a part of your voice.
That's good.
He uses this to help others. Just think of the lady that helped free me. Still, I cut it with my sister, but I still wasn't letting the public or anybody in my salon seeing me with the bald head. The lady that helped free me, I saw her Facebooking and talking. And then I started seeing all these beautiful bald women. And I was like, Dad, they look better without the hair. They look better without the hair. And I'm a hairstylist, and I kept saying that. And I said, we have a choice in this.
Yeah.
So to go back to your original question, it does shut you up emotionally because you don't think you're as good as or as pretty as. So it shatters your confidence because what we see that's normal is people with head fulls of hair. That's normal. And we've somehow made bald seem unnormal. And we've been taught to hide it, and we don't have to.
We don't
And
have to.
as I said earlier, bald is a voice. It speaks. People see this before you open your mouth. So it's a voice that speaks, and whatever tool God needs to use it. That's why He didn't heal me from and let my hair grow back. Because it's a tool He's going to use to help. To help in even what you're doing now. Life matters, and you're not the only one. I mean, we saw women in the church when we were kids. I mean, if you attend church, with these ugly wigs on, covering up what was there. And then I see the people in my family, we weren't taught to be proud of even being bald of who you are. And so, as I explained, I was even shattered even more when I went to a retreat and it was encouraged to get up and swing that long flowing hair. And that was damaging for a long time for me, because you already feel like you don't belong, but even you feel even more that you didn't belong. So I hope I answered your question. And
you did. Arlene, so what was there an emotional, outside of your mother's ordeal, was there an emotional or mental transition that you went through? And Shurvone, you'll be next to answer this. Just share us a little bit about it.
I think I embraced it because of her, and because I kept my hair very short and blonde. That was my first thing of being different. And say, why is she wearing blonde hair? I was blonde, and I loved it. But I had sister locks earlier in my life, and I tried blonde color for my locks, and I weakened my hair till I made a ponytail, and when I pulled the rubber band, hair came out. What happened? So bald was easy for me. I felt like my big thing was to help my mother, and my family embraced it. My husband loved it. He loved it. I'm like, really? So that made it all good. That made it all good. And I walked around feeling that it wasn't so much different from being blonde. If you're a blonde, people look at you really weird. Not anymore. Not anymore. But I'm fine. I've been fine with it. I really enjoy it right now. Yes.
Yeah. Miss Shurvone, any emotional? I know you talked about your self-confidence and those things. Yes. Any emotions, Shurvone, that you may have experienced, whether it be mental, spiritual, anything that your baldness at the first stages of it, that how it affected you? Unmute yourself, hon.
It made me really go into myself and examine, because I really wanted to understand how I was okay with it, because I really truly was okay with, like, God gave me an instant peace about it. I wasn't ashamed, and I thought I would be. And I think that is what really affected me the most, is that I wasn't ashamed to be bald. And I knew people would look at me, and when I shaved it off, it was uneven, and and I didn't care. It was, so for me, it was being very surprised at how God, His timing helped me to be okay with it, because I wore wigs for, like I said, over 20 years. And I have shaved my hair a couple times because it was growing thin and I wasn't really sure what to do, but I would always wear wigs. And so for me, it was just the shock that I was at peace with it. And I embraced it. And so it helped me to, because I struggled with being okay with myself for many, many, many years. And so to be okay with being bald, and super short hair for me just kind of sealed the deal, kind of put the icing on the cake for me. It was like, you know what, you're okay. If I decide to put on a wig, I'll put on a wig. If I don't want to, I don't want to. But I'm finding that I love touching my hair. It's almost like a connection to myself. As I talk about it with you ladies, it's like a connection with my inner self, that me and God alone got me here. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know,
it does.
it's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I almost feel like getting teary-eyed because it's such a connection with myself that I never really had, that I totally 150% feel authentic. I'm okay. I feel beautiful, and when people stare at me, I don't care, you know, and it kind of makes you stand up a little bit because you're like,
Straight
okay,
up.
and it gave me like a sense of just deep peace.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I can do and tackle anything.
yeah. And I agree with all of you ladies. For me, now I know a lot of people who may watch this or listen to this who know me. They swear out that Michele Irby Johnson is the most confident person they will ever meet. But in truth, I always struggled with self-esteem because I was always told that I was the ugly one or the fat one or this one. You're smart, but you're ugly. You have a nice personality, but you're fluffy. You're this, but you're that. So I was never, let me just be me. And so when I discovered that I was losing my hair, and my then, I'll say my boyfriend, then a couple months later, he became my fiance, and then he became my husband. You know, he told me how beautiful I was. And I was like, I know who I was on the inside, but I was going based off of, like Lisa has said, that my hair is what people deem to be normal. When you have hair, you're normal. And so one friend of mine, when I cut it off, the first thing they said was, well, people are going to think you have cancer, you know. I said, I don't care. I said, that's your response. And I know this person for 30 some years. I said, that's what you're saying to me right now. You know, I said, I'm not asking for your support. I said, but at the same time, what you just said sounded like one of them, not somebody who's walked this life with me for 30 some years. So I don't even understand where that came from. And yes, I do get looks, and people do this. Well, my husband and I, we were in the airport coming from Charlotte to Maryland, or one way. And this guy saw us sitting there, and he walks over to me and he says, I'm praying for you. You're in my prayers.
Okay, thanks.
And I said to myself, praise God for the prayer, but is that because he feels sorry for me because he thinks I'm sick?
Yes.
Because I'm bald and it's you know, it's COVID, and he thinks maybe I'm, you know, I'm one of those, you know, delicate people where I don't stay far away from me. And we were in Sweet Frog the other day, and this group of people were sitting there, and they just kept staring at me, and I'm saying to myself, did they think that this is something that happened to me? No, I chose this because I embraced it. Like Arlene said, I embraced the fact that I don't have to comb my hair, perm my hair, braid my hair. I didn't like wigs because it make me hot. You know, wrap my hair, snatch those off real quick. And so I love the fact that you ladies have now come into your own. Shurvone, I love the fact that you said when you reach up, you come in contact with who you are authentically. And the first thing I thought in my spirit was, we've been stripped for his glory. Because we had to do away with the outward appearance. So that God can get what he needed from us, in spite of what man may say or what man may see. He sees the beauty of who we are, because again, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Hair or no hair, he has made us right and righteous in his own eyes, in his own time, and for his own glory. And so now when I look in the mirror, I'm like, this old bald head is something else. I'm loving her.
Absolutely.
I'm loving her. Okay, let me move on, because I'm getting happy all by myself. All right. Because you know, The preacher preached it himself first. So, okay, so let me ask you this. Lisa, I'm going to always start with you and work my way around. So we talk about, embracing our baldness. What happened to us? Mine is alopecia. Lisa, yours is alopecia.
Yes.
Arlene, yours was chemo. Cancer. Shurvone, yours was. Say it again.
Friction alopecia.
Friction alopecia. Okay, so we have three alopecias and a cancer. If I can say that. But here's the thing. So does your hair, and we may have already said this, the lack of hair, does it embolden you, empower you? What does it do for your career, for your ministry? What does it do for you now? Lisa, come on now. When I saw your pictures on Facebook, I said, oh my God, this woman is gorgeous.
And so that's the response I was getting from my friends, the real friends, and of course your Facebook friends, but my real girlfriends were like, oh my God, you did it. Oh my God, because they knew. Look, we would go on vacations together. And so at night, I would hide my wig under the bathroom, in the cabinet under the bathroom, and come out with a scarf on, so nobody ever saw the alopecia. Goodness. So for them to give me that response, it made me feel good. So it emboldened me, and it helped me because I teach at the conventions, at beauty conventions. And so one of the things that I teach is to find, when we connect with our purpose, and I have them, I don't make them, but I have people in my class to write down, what do you think your mission is? And what do your personal, not business, but personal mission. And so we talk about our purpose. And so I would share with them is that one of my purposes, or one of the purposes that I'm set on earth to do, is help women to serve as a midwife, to help them birth out the dreams that they have on the inside of them. And so I wasn't doing it because not having the confidence that I needed. It really not having that hair does limit you in doing some things. For me, it did. It mentally limited me on doing some things. So with the hair gone, that freedom has broke down walls. I mean, bricks of walls came down. And so I'm here. It's so many opportunities and doors that are opening for me that I'm walking in my purpose. And so I said, I want to start a support group in Maryland to help people. Now, I'm not telling people not to wear wigs, none of that, because that's what I do. And that's how I make my income. But I want you to be free into, if you don't have that wig on that day, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If you come to me without having your wig on, it's okay. I want people to walk in that kind of freedom. I still wear wigs. I still wear wigs, but I like the idea of being free. So it helps me to help people, to help them with their confidence. And it helps me to help them with their purpose. And I speak to a lot of women that are in business and women that are in the beauty industry. I was told last week that I'm called to women in business, period, not just beauty. I'm limiting myself. But to help them walk in whatever their limitations are, it's helping me to be free. I don't have anything holding me back to be free in doing that. So it's like, the stutter. It's like the stutter. The no hair was like a stutter, and it was holding me back. But not anymore. Even the incident at the retreat, it was no fault to the pastor, because we don't sometimes know what we're doing, and no fault to them, but it was a stepping stone to help me to kind of wean off and depend on God, and really get into His Word on your own. And although we need other people, I believe we need other people. But it was really a stepping stone to help me come out of the thing that I was in, and the hiding that I was in. And I was when I left that retreat, I was hurt. I was shamed. I was really not feeling good, but God healed me from that. And so it took my sister to get that cancer. And she would be laying hands on top of my head too, praying that the hair would be back too, because she knew that was that was one thing that was holding me back. but it helped with it helped me with my confidence and to really walk into what my purpose and the mission that I gave myself over my life is helping me to walk into that mission and to really help other people. So that's what it's done for me. So it's helping me with boldness, walking into confidence. One lady said to me, head full of hair, it is not about the hair. It really isn't. But she said, Lisa, what you did was help me do what I'm called to do. She was like, those pictures you posted on Facebook? She said, I started writing my dreams down. She said, if she can do that, what can I do? So just from the clipper, somebody is walking in their purpose because of me cutting my hair and posting it on Facebook first. So, yeah.
So my husband, he's on here. He just posted, y'all need to host a bold, bald, and beautiful conference.
I actually
and tell your stories.
I actually have one friend, so I'm gonna make sure that I connect you to. I actually have one friend that has a conference going. I think it's in August.
Okay.
A bald, bold, and beautiful. It's a conference going. So I said, why be competitors? We're gonna do this together. We're gonna save this world together. So tell your husband there is a lady that has gotten one started, and I'm gonna make sure all of us connect to her. I know I can't make the dates. I can't make it to the conference this year. But we're going to do this, even if we have to have it in different parts of the country.
Yeah,
she's on the West Coast, and the conference was going to be in Texas somewhere, I believe. But people need to hear the stories. People need to be free. And I'm going back. I'm not telling people don't wear no wigs, don't wear human hair. We're still in business. We're still in business. Yes, but I want you to be free to. If somebody walks in the room, because when I service women, it's, it has to be private. Yeah. But if I want you to be free to the point, if somebody walks in the room and you're getting a wig placed on, you don't care if that person walked in the room.
Yeah. And
that wasn't me before. I was hiding. I would get my hair done after hours. I wouldn't, like other stylists would sit in somebody's chair to get their hair done, while we're on break. I wouldn't do that. It had to be before salon hours or after salon hours, because I didn't want people to see. What I look like underneath.
All right, Miss Arlene, give us your snippet. We're sitting at 43 minutes. Give us your snippet of what is your hair? How has your hair empowered you, emboldened you? What has it done for you?
I use it a lot because sometimes I'm someplace and I find even children just staring and they're looking with this, oh my God, look, and I'm going, yeah, cancer. What are you going to do? And so ladies that I know who have cancer, if I happen to be around them and I speak to them, I'm like, you can look at me and know that it can happen for you and you're going to be beautiful. Do not worry. Don't be afraid. And I use that a lot of times as an opener. If somebody approaches me and asks a question, and to me, what's the deepest desire you have in your heart? And if cancer comes and takes your hair, you'll still do it, right?
Yeah.
Put them in that mode. You'll still do it, right? Don't let that stop you. So I'm in this mode of encouraging. I encouraged my mother. She gave it back to me, empowered me to share with someone else. You will be beautiful.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen. Thank you. Miss Shurvone.
Yes, so it has helped me to encourage other women, just like you all, encouraging other women to stand in their power. I've had people reach out to me privately and said, wow, I can't believe you've done that. You've encouraged me to, I have alopecia and I shave off my hair, but I'm afraid to post it or, come out and share with everybody what I really look like. And so it's given me energy and power knowing that when I took the step to be bold and bald and beautiful, that it encouraged someone else. And when you know that what you've done, even though you were afraid, and someone turns around and tells you that it encouraged them, it gives you energy. It gives you, okay, I can continue to keep going, because even though in my closet I was a little bit afraid or I was uncertain, what I did, and because I took the courage to do it, it encouraged someone else. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help others. We're here to help and encourage others. And if I can do that one woman at a time, I'll do this all day long. And I was actually just saying this morning, I don't think I ever want to change. And just like I told you, when I touch my hair, I just it feels like I'm touching my soul. I'm connecting with my soul, and it is the best feeling ever. Even when I'm having a bad day, and my days are, it goes up and down with work or whatever relationships. I touch my head, and it just reminds me, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. You're okay. You got this. God has this. He has you, and you're going to be okay. So it's a whole spiritual thing for me as well. Connection with God, my confidence, my boldness, and other people, and helping other women be okay.
Amen.
Amen.
This is amazing.
Amen.
This is amazing.
Amen.
Somebody put a comment in that says there are a lot of women with a full head of hair and they are so unhappy.
Indeed.
And that's
Indeed.
true. But
Indeed.
I love the fact that we and all of the other BBBs out there that we're going to meet and connect with and all of that.
Yes.
Lisa, thank you so much for reminding us. I'm just going to put this out here. There's going to be a Juneteenth festival in Annapolis, Maryland, when the alopecia ladies are going to be marching. I might have to try to make my way up there so I can get out there with the BBBs. We have a question from our audience. What type of products do you use on your scalp?
No problem.
When I first started, I was just putting sunscreen, and then I would mix it with what do you call it? Foundation, because my scalp was lighter than my face at the time. Now it's all even, but I used to put drops of foundation in sunscreen and put it on so I wouldn't, because it was summertime when I went bald, and so I was very sensitive to the sun. So what do you ladies use to protect your skin, to make it shine? Any shaving products? What do you all use? Sometimes I use Nair because I don't have a lot of hair, so I put Nair on there, let it sit for 5 minutes and wipe it off. But sometimes it burns because my scalp is a little sensitive. But what do you ladies use? Lisa, let's start with you, hon.
Okay, so I'm going to say to you, don't use Nair anymore on your scalp.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about it offline. Okay. But I haven't actually completed the line yet, but I have a line of products that I'm coming out with, and the line is not complete. The name of the product line is called J. Roche, after my mother Joan and my two sisters, hair and scalp line. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but now I actually don't put anything on it, and I will put sunscreen on it because the sun will be beaming on it. And when it was colder outside, I cut it when it was cold. When it was colder outside, I would wrap it because I get colds and sinus issues quickly. But I would put some sunscreen on it. I wouldn't put Vaseline because it clogs your scalp. Anything with a little bit of sunscreen I would put on it, and I shampoo it with regular shampoo right now until my line comes out. I use Avalon products within my salon, so I shampoo it with my shampoo. I'll run some conditioner over top of my scalp. Look, I'll run conditioner over top of my scalp because you still want to keep a healthy scalp. You still want to keep a healthy scalp, and but the Nair, because it's lye, you don't want to do it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Because I was like, why is this burning my head?
So, that's. I mean, coming from a professional point of view, yes, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Arlene. What do you use?
I use to shave. I use Johnson's baby oil because that helps soothe as it's taking the hair away. And when I'm done, there's Sprouts Farmers Market has a product called an aloe vera gel.
Yeah, that works.
Someone told me while I was living in California, it's very good for anything on the skin. And that's the only thing I do, those two things. I bought one of those shavers they advertise now with the 3 rotating heads. I find that I have to brush. I'm like, what? No, Harry's. I go back to my Harry's and I get done and I put some aloe vera on it and we're good to go. 2 products.
All right, Miss Shurvone, what do you use? Well, you don't shave too much anymore.
I've been experimenting with different oils and shampoo and conditioners, and because like Lisa said, I know it's important to keep your scalp healthy. So I've been experimenting with a couple things. So I have a whole bunch of stuff in my cabinet, but like you, Lisa, I haven't found anything that I really like yet. But I've been praying about coming out with a line for women with, bald head, very short hair, because I think it's still important that you take care of it. It's still your skin, and you need to take care of it. And I haven't found anything that I really liked. So I'm praying about that as well.
Yeah. Well, outside of the nair that I will not be using anymore because Miss Lisa just chastised me, but it's okay because I take correction well. You got to be able to take correction. But typically I work out every day, Monday through Friday, and I do 6 miles each day.
Wow.
But when I wash my face, I wash my head, so I don't necessarily use shampoo. And then when I shave, I use the Edge with aloe in it. And again, my hair doesn't get that long that I need to shave, but I'll go over it every now and then. And then after that, I put the witch hazel.
Witch hazel.
Witch hazel. It's like alcohol. It's the green alcohol, so it doesn't bump up or anything like that. And then that's it. And I don't go outside that much. I need to start going outside, but I love being home. But Lisa, let us know when your product comes out.
Yes.
We have a question from our audience. Says, how long was the process of losing hair before you took it all off? Well, it was years for me. So everybody else was years. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But this has been amazing. I really need 2 hours for this because
we have to come back again.
I guess we're gonna have to show up at the BBB convention.
Yes.
But this has been amazing. So if each one of you would give one piece of advice to a woman who is now struggling with, we're not gonna call it the big chop because that's not what it is, but any woman who is struggling with alopecia or the results of chemo or what have you, and having to go bald, give us in 1 minute your piece of advice. So Lisa, give a piece of advice, Arlene, and then Shurvone.
Okay. I did it when I was ready. You have to be ready for the big chop. I mean, to shave it off. But I say that I just want to tell people that you're not alone, and it's not your fault. And you have so many supportive people out there. And then, you know what? Being bald is a gift, or having hair loss is a gift. So it's nothing that you've done wrong. That's my best piece of advice. And contact a trichologist to help you walk through the progress. You through the progress.
All right. That's great, Lisa. Arlene?
Just the one thing, you will be fine. If you must do it and embrace it, because there will always be wigs. There are so many new things. If you want to spend that money to replace the baldness, you will have that opportunity. But do it and really look at you. Just look at yourself. You might be surprised, and you might end up loving what you see in the mirror. You don't have to do all of that other stuff. So I would ask whoever I'm challenged with is to just do it and see what happens.
Awesome. Shurvone, your final piece of advice.
Yes, you know that quote that says life begins on the other side of fear. When you take that first step, when you're afraid to do something and you realize that it wasn't as scary as you thought, that's the experience that I had. So I would encourage, anyone that's listening today, like Lisa said and everyone said, you have a community that will support you, and you will be surprised at how beautiful you feel and how loving of a community of women that will love on you and encourage you. So you are not alone. We are here to support you, and you are going to be fine, but you have to do it when you're ready. And once you take the plunge of whatever you decide to do, you're going to be absolutely amazed at what you're going to experience and how it's going to make you feel.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to what I call my BBB sisters, my bald, beautiful, bold sisters. We have been talking to none other than Arlene McGuire, Shurvone Wright, and Lisa Ennis. These beautiful women. I saw their pictures. on Facebook. I said, okay, I need to reach out to this one and that one and that one. And so I hijacked your pictures, Lisa. I hijacked the one of you in your green top with like this. I think that's a precious picture. Y'all need to go find that picture. It's adorable, absolutely adorable. But I just wanted to thank each one of you for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking to my bold, bald, and beautiful sisters, Arlene McGuire, Lisa Ennis, and Shurvone Wright. Lisa, give us your website and your contact information real quick.
www.meetlisaennis.com.
All right, www.meetlisaennis.com. Shurvone, do you have a contact website or email?
At ShurvonePWright@gmail.com. And you can find me all over Facebook.
Okay. All right. Arlene
McGuire. ArleneMcGuire.com.
ArleneMcGuire.com. I tell you, listen here. This has been amazing. Don't y'all forget about me, because I would never forget about my BBB girls. I love you all so very much. I want to anybody who wants to reach out to, who wants to watch the playback, go to my YouTube channel, Life Matters with Michele TV Official. You can watch this show and any show that I've been doing. I'm in season 2. Season 3 starts in July. I'm looking for guests starting for October, because I'm booked up to October. So if you would like to be a guest, please visit my website at www.iam-mij. That just stands for I am Michele Irby Johnson. That's all it is. So go to my website and you can find me there. Again, I'm looking for guests who can appear on my show starting in October. I'm booked up till then. Again, you can watch the show on YouTube at any time on Life Matters with Michele TV Official. You can also listen to the show on sensationalsoundsradio.net on Fridays at 4:00. So I'm there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on I was gonna say on Good Times. I'm on YouTube. You can find me there. So I want to thank once again my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ladies. I'm so glad that you all had the time. Arlene's on the East Coast. Lisa's in Maryland. Shurvone, where are you?
I'm in California, Northern California.
So we're doing some cross-coastal
yes, indeed.
some cross-coastal shows here. But again, thank you, ladies, so very much. Thank you to our listening audience, our viewing audience, for tuning in to Life Matters, where we talk about what matters to you, and you. And we'll talk to you again. Ladies, hang back. Don't go anywhere. Talk to you again soon. Have a blessed day, everybody.